What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everybody's doing well. Let me just check in the audio. I don't want to. Got to check my mic levels. Okay, looks pretty good. Can everybody hear me? And hopefully the stream's coming through properly. How's everybody doing? Rustenberg TV says, "Hey Nick, the best dancer." LOL. Good morning, you guys. Good afternoon. Welcome. Yes. My April Fool's Day video is out, and if you want to see me dance, I'm dancing in it. Good morning, you guys. Welcome. We have some stuff to look at. We got some markets moving already today, and I figured we could talk about some trade ideas here. It is Thursday, so it's on the second half of the week. I do still take trades if I see something on a Thursday, or whenever I see them. I'll even take trades on a Friday. Sometimes people ask, Nick, do you ever take trades on Friday? And the answer for me is yes, because I'm not really a day trader. I'm more of a swing trader. So if I see something that I really like and I'm willing to hold it for the weekend, then by all means I can. What's the risk of holding for the weekend? Well, let's say that the market is moving like this during the week, but then the market closes right on Friday. So let's say it's Friday right here, and then around when the market opens back up on Monday or Sunday, depending on where you are in the world, let's say that the market opens back up and it's down here, right? There is the potential for a weekend gap. And that is because, again, when things are not trading, there can still be news or big movements or whatever that can cause things to, get things stirred up, if you will, and cause some volatility on the open. So sometimes you can get these gaps on the open. So I will take a trade, however, on a Friday if I really like a setup. But again, just be aware of the potential risk there of holding trades over the weekend. Some people prefer just never to hold them over the weekend. Great dancing, Nick. Happy 1st of April. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for complimenting my perfect dancing. I don't want to hear anything about the fact that I don't want anybody to say I can't dance, because that's just not true. It's so obvious. I'm the best dancer ever. That's a little bit of sarcasm, not going to lie. But good to see everybody in here. We got a good number of people already tuned into the stream, so thanks for being a part of today's stream. I thought we could take a look at the currency heat map. We've been doing this at the beginning of the streams lately, and I find this pretty helpful. You can see that to start out our day, the winner here seems to be the NZD, which seems to be back on the move. I did end up taking a trade recently, which is starting out right. We'll see if it can hold the Aussie yen, which is a pair we'll take a look at. I've already got it pulled up here. In just a moment, we'll talk about this. By the way, if you want this currency heat map, you can come to the site anytime and grab it. Just go to a1trading.com and you can go to currency heat map right here, or you can go to market analysis currency heat map. But yeah, feel free to come here anytime and grab it. But yeah, so I use it just as a way to see, like, from an overall view, like, what are things looking like in terms of movement. And it seems like today's winner seems to be the New Zealand dollar for now, and also the euro, which is really interesting. I'm wondering what's going on with the euro today. Maybe we can go look at the news, or see if something is moving it, because it seems like it's gaining strength against, the dollar, the yen, which is not too surprising since the yen seems to be weak today, or it's just been weak recently. But more notably, some of these other currencies like the CAD and the Aussie. But the winner for today seems to be the NZD, which is green against all of the other ones. So we'll take a look at some NZD pairs. What's the dollar doing today? The dollar seems pretty flat, pretty mixed opinion. It is losing against New Zealand, of course. NZD is probably, New Zealand dollar probably moving higher today. So yeah, keep that in mind. Also, by the way, if you're going to the site regularly, Frank posts and Bart posts some great content for readers there, just on some of their ideas and some of the latest updates. If you struggle with, kind of deciphering what's going on in the world, and that's a lot. If you're a busy person, sometimes it helps just to have somebody sort of summarize it for you. So that's sort of the goal with our articles. So feel free to read those anytime you want. Yeah, so what we can do, like I mentioned, I do have a trade on Aussie yen. This one's starting out nice. Basically, I bought it, and it seems to have done something weird. So like I bought right here and it didn't hit my stop. Like it went against me and then it just reversed really hard. So my stop loss was in a good place. My entry was not. So, but it is what it is. Sometimes sometimes the market just is on your side for the time being. I do plan on trailing that stop at a certain point. For those of you guys who are members, you know that I share my trades there, and any trades that I take with analysis and entries and exits and all that sort of thing. So I shared this yesterday or last night, really. It was sort of a late trade, but I took a trade last night during the Asian session, and so far it's going well. We'll see if it can keep running, but I risked kind of small in this trade after coming down off of that NZD trade, which was closed out yesterday, which did pretty well. I decided just to, stick to a smaller position size and sort of take it slow. That's something that I wanted to talk about today on stream, just for you guys here. So when it comes to like win streaks, I had a sort of a flat month of March. Like I didn't have like a great March or anything like that. It was pretty flat. I took some wins, I took some losses, but it was pretty much just slightly negative until the very end. Literally right at the end, I took that NZD JPY trade that put me up pretty significantly for the month. I think it was like a 4% month for me, which is pretty good. It's not the best month. It's not the worst month, but I will take it. I'm absolutely happy to take that sort of profit. So with that said, it's one of those things, like after I take a nice winner, one thing that I like to do is I like to try and focus on, okay, well, let's not let that get to my head. And so one thing I often will do is after I take a win in the market, I will reduce my position size, because it's almost like if you ever have a winner that comes along and it makes you feel sort of invincible or something like that, like it makes you feel really good in the markets. I don't want to sound like a pessimist, but it's sort of a dangerous thing to have an inflated ego or too excited in the markets, right? So for me, what I'll do is I'll reduce the position size, and I will, I'll just take it slow for the next trade or two until I take a loss, right? Because a loss sort of sobers you up or humbles you a little bit. So I've got just a smaller position size. It seems to be working out so far here on Aussie Yen. But again, for those of you guys who are members, I called this trade out last night. And for those of you who maybe caught the same move, then awesome. But so far, so good. Any updates that I do, of course, I will share inside of the private group. Let me just... I'll pull that up. Let me show you guys what this trade is looking like. I don't mind sharing my trades on the stream sort of after of course, like if you're a member, you get to see them as I take them. But I just like to talk about them, wins and losses here on the stream. So this is the trade I'm in. I said I'm going long in Aussie Yen here today. This was last night, right before midnight. And I was dancing. I was dancing at midnight. For those of you guys who saw my April Fool's video. I said I'm going long on Aussie Yen at the 4-hour demand zone with a stop loss of about 45 pips. So not a big stop loss here. And the technical reasoning was basically I liked this demand zone. Like I overall, from a technical view, uptrend, and I liked the pullback here, so I wanted to jump in. That was pretty much it, right? And I think that we could be headed back to the previous high there. Then also from a fundamental standpoint, I said the Aussie is a commodity-based currency with much of their economy balanced on global trade. As things continue to improve economically, I'm still bullish on the Aussie until further notice. Conversely, I'm bearish on the yen as it is currently being used as a funding currency due to its stable but lagging economy in bullish environments. Okay? So that was the idea. Took the trade, and things are working out so far. We'll see if that can keep going or if it wants to turn around and dab on me, but we'll see. I think it has the potential to head back to highs, as I do with a lot of these yen pairs. We could talk about maybe some other ones. NZD seems to be a really popular one. This one was... it stopped me out yesterday on the pullback, which is all good. We got a good move out of there. In fact, actually, I can't really complain with where I got out. I got like stopped out here before it sort of reversed, and then now it's finding fresh levels of demand. But I'm still bullish on my counters against the yen, but I would say that, I think we still have room to go. So I think like it's potentially headed back to the highs. So I've just been sort of trading that until it either happens or I'm just wrong. But we will see. I think that there's room for yen pairs to continue to for the yen to continue to weaken, and some of these counter pairs to move strongly against it. Okay. Jack says, "Hey Nick, I love the April Fool's Day video. I'm glad Jack, I'm sorry that I had to do it to you guys. I double whammied you. I April Fool's you, and then I also danced in front of you, which, let's just be honest, it was god awful dancing." But we had fun with it. I mean, we got the green screen out in the office, and Will helped me film it. And Will, you should have seen him, you guys. When Will was editing the video, he was just sitting over across the room from me at his desk, just cracking up, and I was just loving it. So it was really funny. But yeah, we had a lot of fun with it. If you haven't seen that video, spoiler alert, I guess we already sort of spoiled it, but watch that video if you hadn't today, the April Fool's prank video that I did. I joked saying that I was going to delete my channel and start selling a $2,500 course, which just goes against like everything that I that I stand for in this video or on this channel. So a video like that to me was just it was pretty. I was laughing a lot making it because I was like, gosh, this is so cringe. Like, this is something I would never say. But I don't know. I tried to be convincing with it. Happy Day says, "You scared the hell out of me." Well, I'm sorry I scared you, but hopefully you were able to laugh at it after. That was, I mean, I think I watched that video like 30 times because I was just like, I don't know. I thought it was just funny. I'm that loser that laughs at their own joke way too much. That is me. That is me through and through. I thought that was so funny because, I don't know. I was just like looking at myself like, who are you? Man, good stuff. Yeah, so the yen pairs, like I was mentioning, I think that a lot of them, actually, GBP JPY has already reached its previous high. So you can see we already moved right through it even. You can see we tagged this level, we came down. I tried for a buy there, it didn't work out, I got stopped out. And then price ultimately came down to this zone, found support, and rallied right back up to the highs. So, you know, I think that this is probably going to happen on some of the other currencies as well. It has also happened already on USD JPY. I mean, this one is just dominating. The US dollar has just crushed the yen here in 2021. This thing is just an absolute monster. What about, we could take a look at CAD yen. CAD yen probably also, look at that. CAD yen reached the previous high. So I know somebody in the group was texting me or DMing me about CAD yen, saying they caught the move. So that was kind of cool to hear. I think this one, you know, I took the NZD and AUD trades long, which still did very well, but some people played it better by catching these, you know, the CAD yen and the pound yen that just, you know, absolutely rocketed against the yen. LOL, it was so funny. Jack said I was headed to Atlanta. You just needed the Lambo. You know, Jeremy, funny story. We thought about, for the April Fool's video, Will and I were thinking about renting a Lambo and going that route. But I kind of like, I don't know, with the April Fool's video, I tried to make it as believable as possible, even though I was cringing as I was saying what I was saying, because it was so like, you know, not what I stand for on this channel. But like, we did think about going and you know, renting a Lambo and trying to like pull off like some sort of like fake guru sort of lifestyle and be like, hey, you know, come buy my millionaire course or whatever, all that nonsense. And we thought that would have been funny. I think that would have also been a good route, but I think it worked out because I almost felt like it was more believable just saying like, hey, you know, I have a $2,500 course, and I felt like that was a little bit more believable than if I was to like show up in a Lambo and try and go full blown, you know, full 180 against who I am on this channel. But I think it worked out. I think my dance moves were fire. So, Adriano says, is it possible to apply Forex strategies you show to the stock market, basically using the same price action, supply and demand zone techniques? Adriano, I would say yes. I'm not a super active trader when it comes to stocks. However, yes, I do think that there's plenty of room to apply some of the concepts that we talk about on this channel to stocks as well. So absolutely. Leandro shared the link to the Telegram. If you guys want to join the Telegram, there's a free Telegram there. It's linked in the chat, or if you're watching back later, you can get it in the description. But let's talk about euro yen for just a moment. So this is a pair that I kind of am on the sort of the bias of like, I think this market is going to be range bound. And the reason, as I've explained a few times in the channel in the past, is because I'm sort of bearish on both of these individual currencies, right? So when we're talking about currencies, we don't always have to look at them in pairs. We can actually look at just the euro, for example, and then look at the yen. And for me, I'm pretty bearish on both. So how do you trade the euro against the yen if you're bearish on both? Well, for me, what that means is if I'm bearish on both currencies, I would expect price to not go anywhere, right? I would expect it more likely to range since both are weak. Now, one probably is more weak than the other. I'd probably say that the yen is probably more weak than the euro. However, I don't want to sort of, I just would prefer to trade something that's like objectively, in my view, I guess not objectively, but more bullish in my view against something that I'm bearish on or weak biased, right? So when I look at euro yen, this is one that I'm not super interested in trading personally, but from just a technical view, I would probably say, as we get to these highs, it's very possible that we could see on euro yen, I wouldn't be as sort of bullish at these levels. I would say, we could probably see some pullback there and maybe even a return back to the low, just going in favor of, again, sort of that weak versus weak currency, sort of that back and forth bias. Jack said, I knew this guy Nick was too good to be true. Let's look at euro dollar. Yes, I'm happy to do that, Marwan. Euro USD. Euro dollar, so actually rebounding a little bit today. We're seeing euro dollar poke its head back up. We came down. Did we hit 1.17? We didn't. We barely missed 1.17 there on the dip. We've seen this pair really be bearish recently. If price is to pull back, maybe to the 1.18, I can see price being a decent short in that zone. In fact, I might even look to take that trade. We'll see if we can get that trade, because you've got a couple things here. You've got a horizontal level of supply where we recently sold off, but you've also got this really decisive trend line here where we've been forming lower highs, and we've also just been sort of holding that zone as we push lower. As long as the euro sort of stays bearish, right? If the European region continues to underperform the US, then obviously we would stay biased to the short side. At least I would, right? So for me, I've been short biased because the European region has sort of been lagging the US's strong bounce back, especially with the vaccine rollouts that are coming, and sort of it seems to be a sort of I don't want to jinx it, but sort of like a view of light at the end of the tunnel sort of thing for the U.S. and this whole pandemic. Who knows? Hopefully nothing further happens or some sort of reversal, but the idea is if that stays the case and vaccine rollouts continue to be perceived as better, that seems to be like the dominant headline for markets right now, is still, after a year, the pandemic and getting past it. Because once the idea is like if we can get past it, we would expect GDP to grow dramatically and jobs reports to come out even better, which they already are, which is probably something we should talk about, considering tomorrow we have NFP. Now, I'll probably be going live for NFP in the morning, so definitely tune into the stream there. I'm probably going to do it an hour earlier than usual just because NFP is tomorrow. Let's see. So we can go to this week. So yeah, at 8:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern tomorrow, which is about an hour it's about an hour ago tomorrow, if that makes sense. 8:30 U.S. Eastern. We have unemployment numbers, and you can kind of see that there's a forecast for 652,000 new jobs, which is a big bounce back. So it's the change in number of employed people during the previous month, and this has a big impact on the U.S. dollar and just currency outlook and sort of risk tolerance around the world, because if jobs are better than expected, then it is very good for the U.S. economy, right? It's a signal that GDP could grow and, things inflation could rise at a healthy level because there's more demand for goods and consumer demand goes up when everybody has jobs. That's the idea, right? So watching that number tomorrow will be interesting to see sort of what things have done on the US dollar. So definitely going to be paying attention to that one, and I'm probably going to be streaming that with you guys. So we'll go live tomorrow and sort of prepare for that. So that's going to be an early stream because I'll probably have to get on at like 7:30 a.m. I'll have to get to the office and be there before 7:30. So I'm just taking mental notes. But yeah, keep an eye on for that stream. We'll talk about that tomorrow more. But yeah, definitely sort of the major headlines for this week. And we'll almost certainly move the Euro USD. Actually, anything that has to do with the US dollar will be impacted by that news tomorrow. So I'll just say from a big picture, if we were to pull back here tomorrow, I could very well see myself looking for opportunities to short that thing and go with the overall momentum. Now, unless jobs come out drastically worse, in which case, maybe I'll pull back my bullish thesis on the US dollar. But again, I'll be watching to see. If we sort of miss and we get some volatility up here, then I'd still be interested in looking for the setups there. But yeah, outside of that, we also have some major supply here at the previous. We had this swing low here, found some demand there, and then finally broke it back in March. So, now that we're seeing the slide here, I'd be interested in selling this thing, but I don't want to chase. So I'd rather see, if we can get a little bit more of a pullback there, that's sort of like the sweet spot that I'd be looking for. Okay, let's talk about gold. Gold will also probably be impacted by tomorrow's big news, which is, again, in unemployment numbers. And look at this, you guys. Gold is doing something really interesting. This is a moment for gold to really make a decision, because what we've got here on gold is we've got, on the daily chart, we're downtrending. We're downtrending pretty strong. In fact, we came right back down to previous lows. Frank sent me a text. He said, Nick, do you think gold is a buy? And I said, long-term, probably. Short-term, it's still got sell pressure. It's still got issues with the sellers holding this trend. For buyers out there, for people who are bullish on gold, what we'd probably want to see is we'd probably want to see price break these supply zones. The problem is when you're in a downtrend like this, you got to think, when you've got a downtrend like this, you've got so many different supply zones looming overhead. You've got one here, you've got one here, you've got one here, you've got one here, right? All of these areas are where sellers are like, oh, if price pulls back, that could be a great sell zone, right? So you have to be aware of those things when you're looking to try and buy gold in a downtrend. However, if you are just a bull, if you fundamentally think it's going up, or you just you technically think it's going up or whatever, I think some of the biggest things to watch out for would in fact be watching for sort of the break of this pattern that we're seeing right now, which is downtrend structure along this trend line. In fact, we're at a very, very pivotal moment here. I think if you're a seller, if you're bearish on gold, this is probably one of the better opportunities that is out there right now. I'm not telling you to go short gold. I think you should do your own due diligence before taking any trades. I'm not here to give you signals or cheat codes in the market. I don't really think that exists. I think you have to put in the time and the effort if you want to be a profitable trader. But when we're looking at gold, I think from a technical view, I think this is a pretty decent zone. So you've got this breakout here to the downside, and then you've got price, finding strong support, yes, but we're still in a downtrend, and we're now retesting that key zone plus this key downtrend line. I think that's probably one of the better sell setups that I see today on gold. Again, I'm always a little bit reluctant to sell gold because it is one of those things that long term it does go up. So it's sort of like shorting the SPY or shorting the S&P 500. It goes up over time usually. So trying to short it can be risky, can be challenging. So anyways, if you're a bear on gold, then keep an eye on this level. This trend line to the downside looks pretty decent to me. And if you're a bull on this, we'd probably want to see that sort of trade setup fail. We'd probably want to see breakouts and retests of some of these major levels that we're pointing out. Again, these same levels that are sort of strongholds for sellers, you would probably, as a bull on gold, want to see those things be broken. So for me, I'm short-term sell biased. So I don't think I would take any buys. But if we started to see something change, then maybe I could look for buys. But again, like I said, short term, I think it's probably going lower, or at least back to retest this level again. For me, what you're usually going to hear is I am For me, what I usually am looking at is whatever the dominant trend is fundamentally and technically. I'm not going to fight that. I'm going to look for signs of continuation, and that's it. There are rare occasions where I will trade a reversal, but it's got to be something like this. It's got to be something where, let's say I'm bullish fundamentally. My fundamental analysis is bullish, but then the technicals look bearish, right? In this case, there are occasional times where I can look for counter trend setups. For example, let's say it's going down like this, and then we've got an ugly trend line here, and then I'm bullish fundamentally. I think it's oversold fundamentally, right? And then we see something like this. We start to see some strength come into that market. On that sort of move, I could see myself looking for counter trend trades for a reversal. But that is not super frequent. Usually I'm trend following technically and fundamentally. Does that make sense? Why'd you delete the comment? I didn't. That's the bot that deletes it. It deletes anybody who spams like caps or anything like that. It's just to keep it clean. Or one of the moderators did. But that's what I've got to say for gold. So like I said, watching these areas here for gold for the time being should be an interesting one to watch. For those guys who are just tuning in, I hope you already saw my video today that I put out this morning. I put it out early in the morning, and Will was making the joke yesterday when we were working on the video together, where he was making the joke because he was like, "You're gonna like ruin people's day right at the beginning of the day." But I had to do it. I had to do it. All right, so that's what we got on gold. Let's keep moving on. What about the pound? We talked about the euro, talked about gold. Let's talk about pound dollar today, which is coming into contact with this level here. So yesterday, I think it was yesterday, recently when we talked about the pound, we did talk about this area. This was a nice sell for people who were bearish on the pound dollar. Again, a currency pair that I am not really interested in trading personally, just because both of these currencies are bullish. In my view, right, I'm sort of bullish biased on both of these currencies. It doesn't mean you can't trade it, or you can't have your own strategy or own reasoning for taking trades. The goal with this channel and my stream is not to tell you exactly how you should trade. I just share my ideas, my tips, and things that I've learned, and hopefully you can employ them and take something positive from the videos. So like I said, if I think something is not the best trade, it doesn't necessarily mean it can't fit your strategy. Before we continue, you should probably have a strategy, and if you don't have one, I have some videos on how you can create your own. If you just look up how to create a trading strategy, Trader Nick on YouTube, I've got like a playlist that's like a free course on the subject. So if you don't have a strategy planned, there's plenty of stuff there on YouTube from me to help you out on that, because I think it's a very important topic. So I spent a lot of time creating some of those videos. But we are back retesting this zone here, which is a big one, right? This area, which was sort of a buy zone for a while, is now being retested on the sell side. Where we tried poking through and it sort of failed. However, now we came right back. So it's a question of watching for the breakout. And I think it really could go either ways. If we start to see a break here, then we could see movements like this, right? That could be a very nice trade setup there. If this were to break, because it seems like, we are forming a higher low there, and now we're retesting. So if that breaks out, there could be something like this in play, right? So watching for that setup could be unique. Also, flip side, if price were to sort of break the other way, which I think is less likely here, but if it does happen, maybe there's some continuation setups on the retests. What you'll usually see from me is I like to take pullback trades. So if I see something like this, a pullback, my entry would be looking for this, right? It doesn't always work out perfectly, and like I said in plenty of my videos, I don't try and come across like I win every trade or I'm a perfect trader. You can watch these streams and videos for free forever. You don't have to pay anything. So I don't have anything to like hide or try and make you think I'm some sort of perfect trader. I'm just somebody who's done this for a long time. I've done it for 5 years, which to me is a long time. I'm only 24 years old. I've been doing this since like high school. So I I've learned some things. I've learned some things the easy way, and I've definitely learned some things the hard way. So if you can maybe make one less mistake than I did, hey, it was worth it to me to share the videos. I mean, I also get paid on YouTube, so I'm not a saint. Don't put me on a pedestal. I get paid by YouTube. It's part of my income. And when I first quit my job about a year and a half ago, when I first quit my job, YouTube was a great way to sort of supplement my income. And then I ultimately started the media business that I have now, which is A1 Trading. I'm a believer in multiple sources of income. I think that trading is a fantastic way to add a source of income, but I think that trading by itself is a difficult way to make a full-time income. Not that you can't make lots of money, it's just a psychologically challenging thing to weigh all of your income on. Now, long-term, as I and other people sort of, you build up capital, then trading can become more and more of a source of financial freedom for you, which I think is absolutely a goal and absolutely possible. But it's one of those things. It's a challenging route. It's not easy, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of time. All right, so caught a little bit of a buy on gold. Nice band savvy. AUD USD. Yeah, let's take a look at the Aussie. So Aussie dollar's been taking some heat recently. Looks like it's bouncing back today. Look at this, actually. Ooh, this looks really interesting. Aussie dollar might be a little bit of a buy here. So Aussie dollar, just from a brief fundamental standpoint, is not my favorite pair, just because I'm sort of bullish on the US dollar as well. But from a technical view, this looks really good for bullish setups here. We're pulling back in the broader span of things. And we formed so far today on this candle a really pretty little bullish setup candle. You've got sort of what looks to be a pretty decisive pin bar there. We shot through the level, which is this zone here that is pretty significant, and then sort of came right back in. So I think, arguably there's probably, if you're a bull on this pair, if you think it's going up, something to think about. Maybe be looking for something like this, right? Now, one thing that you could make the argument about is you could say that there looks to be like a head and shoulders pattern here from just a technical standpoint. I know one of my friends here inside of the private group, his name is Nicky Nick. He long-term supporter of the stream. Some of you guys may have seen him around here. I don't know if he's here today or not, but Nicky Nick was pointing out that sort of the Aussie pairs seem to be pointing out sort of this head and shoulders pattern. But what I sort of mentioned, just from a technical view, like talking technical analysis points, what am I doing? I definitely messed that up. Let me try that again. Okay, wait. Bam, 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 bam. Okay. There it sort of is. Honestly, I kind of like it like this. I'm struggling, you guys. Hold on. Okay, yeah. Let's use this horizontal level. Third time is the charm. Okay, yeah. So Nicky Nick, inside of the private group, we were chatting about this. He was pointing out that some of the Aussie pairs look to be forming a head and shoulders, where you've got sort of this move here. We got a left shoulder, a head on top here where we made highs in March, and then a right shoulder here. And, honestly, it does kind of look like that, right? We do have the lower high here on the daily chart. So that is significant and worth pointing out. So Nicky Nick, if you're here, then thanks for sending me that message. But I do want to add to it. So I think one thing that is pretty important when looking at a head and shoulders, though, is that the problem with patterns and the problem with just any sort of analysis is that you can get yourself into looking at a million things at once, and it can kind of be confusing. But if we're looking at Aussie dollar, the reason I'm not bearish on this right out is because, although yes, we sort of have this lower high, we haven't really broken this neckline. If we were to see something like this and then something like this, then yeah, arguably we could be due for a bigger reversal. But until that happens, I'm not going to jump to conclusions because we are in an overall uptrend, and I think the Aussie dollar is still strong fundamentally. So when we're looking at this, yes, sort of a lower high, but we haven't really broken what you would call the neckline here from a technical analysis standpoint. The Australian economy seems to be doing well overall. It's having a little bit of a pullback here, but I think that it should be set to continue. It's had an incredible year so far. The trend is up, and I don't want to sort of jump to conclusions that it's over anytime soon unless it really starts to show me that, right? So for me, I think that there's probably some good risk to reward. I mean, look at this setup. That's a 5-to-1. If this were to hold and we were to head back to highs, that's a 5-to-1 reward to risk setup on Aussie dollar, right? So definitely worth thinking about. Jay Flip says, same bullish candle on the left shoulder, and it went bearish. Do you mean this? If you mean this, yeah, you're right. I mean, we had a little bit of a wick that wicked back up, and then it went bearish short term. But overall, it's still, the bullish setup there. In this case, like if you were to take the same trade, right, where I'm talking about here, if you were to take this trade here, stop just underneath there, I mean, that worked out, right? That trade actually worked out because although you did take some heat on the trade, again, I talk about often that entries and getting them perfect is quite difficult. So, I'd say like this is probably a decent entry in my view if you think the Aussie dollar is going higher, if you're a bull on it. But yeah, I think this is a decent setup. Like I said, as always, this is not me telling you what to go trade or put your money on. I think you should, we're all responsible adults if we're trading. So make your own decisions, and just my thoughts there on Aussie dollar. But I think this is, a decent sort of bullish setup overall. We'll see. Head and shoulders not reverse the trend. So I just got done. If you zoom back just like 30 seconds to a minute ago, I talked about the head and shoulders pattern that sort of is here. But the big point that I made is that although, yes, we sort of have this looking thing, we haven't really broken out to the downside. If we were to see a break through the neckline there, then yeah, maybe we could see from a technical view more of a reversal. But again, for me, also what's really important is looking at the fundamentals, which the Australian economy is still bouncing back with global trade being strong. And so overall, it's had a great year, and I think it's set to continue. We will see if I'm right or wrong about that. But that's my thoughts there. We'll move on to another pair. Let's take a look at dollar CAD. So dollar CAD, really interesting. Look at how it held this is the daily chart. Look at how it held the 50 moving average there, like perfectly. Price came right back there, tagged it, and held it. We'll see if it can keep going lower, but my thoughts on this pair are overall pretty bearish still, right? Similar reason. The CAD and the Aussie are both what you would call commodity pairs or currencies because their economy is partially made up of, in a big way actually, sort of trade and the some of the natural materials that they produce, right? In Australia, they do a lot of trade with China. They do a lot of gold mining and materials mining, right? And then you have in Canada, they have this giant plot of land and they have a lot of oil, right? So their economy is partially made up with oil. One thing that we pointed out the other day on stream that I'll show for some of you guys who weren't here, if we were to point out oil with dollar CAD, check this out. Oh, actually, this was the thing we struggled with. This is not going to work. Let me do it a different way. Let's do this, and then we'll go to indicators, and we'll do correlation coefficient. And then we'll go to U.S. oil. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm printing the correlation between the dollar Canadian and oil, okay? And what you'll notice is, look at this. There is sort of almost a negative. So what this correlation says is if it's a strong correlation, it's a 1. And if it's a strong negative correlation, it's a -1. And if it's a 0, there's not much correlation at all. What we notice here is that there is a tendency here for a strong negative correlation, almost to that -1. What that means is that as dollar CAD goes down, oil goes up. Why is that? Well, it's because in this case, when the US dollar is going down relative to a strengthening CAD, we get strengthening oil prices. So we have CAD and oil are strongly correlated. So as the oil market rises, that's usually good for the Canadian dollar, right? Because there's going to be more demand for their economy, more demand for their currency because they do a lot of trade in oil, right? I hope that makes sense. You can back up in the stream if you want to hear that again. But studying correlation is a really fascinating rabbit hole for you guys if you want to check that out. But you can correlate different things and see, how much do they impact one another? How correlated is the U.S. dollar to, the dollar Swiss to the gold market? Hint, it's pretty negatively correlated. Then you have something like the Aussie dollar, which is pretty strongly correlated to gold. Understanding correlations, if you have a bullish bias on gold, can also lead to a bullish bias on the Aussie dollar in some cases. So understanding these things, this is the stuff that, I've been doing this for years, and I've pulled together all these little details and facts that I think help make up more confidence in trading. So yeah, so anyways, that's what I've got there on USD CAD. By the way, you guys, can we do a like train? I think it's time. I think it is time to do a quick like train. If you're newer to my stream, this is going to look a little bit weird to you, but what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you guys, if you're enjoying the stream, to do me a favor and like the stream down below. I do these streams for free Monday through Friday in case you want to join back in the future. Again, it's 9 a.m. U.S. Eastern, Monday through Friday. So you can tune in and hang out with me in the future. Do this stuff for free with me. I'm going to ask if you're enjoying the stream to make sure you like it down below. We're at 135 likes. If we could run that up to 200, maybe 250, that would be amazing. So what I do to beg for your likes properly is I draw you guys a pretty picture, and it's a little bit cringe and it's a little bit weird, but that's what we do on this channel. So what we're going to do is I'm going to draw you guys a train. So let's see if I can draw a train. So we're going to try and draw, this is the like train, by the way. So we're going to draw a cool looking modern train today. Let's see if we can, yeah, now we're talking. It'll be a cool looking passenger train. Some people in the audience are like, what the heck are you doing? Get back to the charts. And I'm telling you, this is a crucial part of becoming a profitable trader. If you can't draw trains, you can't be a good trader. And I am just the best train drawer ever. All right, so this is our new, hey, what do you guys think of this train? Not so bad, huh? I don't know, you guys. I think it's starting to look pretty good over here. And the last piece is, of course, the like train. Thank you guys very much for being here. Let's see how many likes we're at. Oh, look at that. We already hit 200 likes. Thank you guys for the support. You guys are amazing. Oh, yeah, I forgot to draw the conductor here. Driving us to paradise. Look at that. You guys, I think this is the best one. Dade says this is the best thus far. Dade, I'm with you, man. I think this is a 10 out of 10 train. I don't know. If anybody wants to hire me as an artist, I'm not for sale. Wow. You know what? I'm not even gonna lie. I think that's like the best train I've ever drawn. Maybe we can put some of you guys. Hey, back here we'll put, this is Dade. Dade's in the train. The next one is Kyle Clifford. You're our next lucky passenger. Let's pick out another passenger. Oh, this is a new fun. You guys, why do you look so weird? Mariana is in the train. We'll put M for Mariana because I'm running out of space here. And then we will put Mafuru in the back. Nice. Everybody enjoying the like train so far? What do you think? I don't know. I think this is the best train we've had so far. And now we need to pick a conductor. I think we're going to put Happy Day as the conductor here. The funny thing is I know there's people who are like watching this and are like, what is, like, this is so weird. And I know. It's all good though. Okay. And you might be saying, well, Nick, where are you? You guys ready for this? Everybody ready for this? Let's see where I am. I'm on top dancing. For those of you guys who saw my April Fool's video today, you got to see some of my dance moves today, which now you know I can draw trains and I'm a fantastic dancer. Dade says we're laughing. Nice. Okay. Well, thank you guys for being good sports today about the April Fool's joke. And I hope you enjoy my terrible dancing. But anyways, you guys, thank you so much for being a part of the stream today. I think we had a lot of fun. We went through a lot of different markets and some thoughts. Again, if you haven't seen the April Fool's joke video I did today, please check it out. I kind of already spoiled it if you haven't seen it. It's an April Fool joke, but you get to see me dance and it's really cringe. So if you want to watch that and hurt your eyes, then feel free to go watch that video. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the stream and checking out all my wide arrangements of incredible talents in drawing cringy trains and dancing awfully. So thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day. Hey, before I go, if you do want to join into our community, we have a chat room on Discord that is moderated by myself and the rest of our staff. If you have any interest in that, there is a link down below in the description. There's a promo code as well. You can see the trades that I'm taking. I took an Aussie yen trade last night, and it's going well so far. But I share all of my trades inside of the group. You get access to a chat room. There's trade ideas being shared. We do fundamental research by our analysts, Bart and Frank. And then we've also do live webinars, educational content. There's tons of stuff available. So if you want to try it out, check it out down below in the description. The worst thing you can happen is you try it for a month and you decide it's not for you. The best thing you can happen is you decide you want to stay with us for life and trade with the gang. So thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Happy trading. We'll see you back next time. What's up, you guys? I'm so excited to announce that TradingView is going to be sponsoring our content here on YouTube. TradingView.com offers a wide range of trading software and charting tools, and they are my #1 favorite place for everything charts. I've been using them for myself for years, so it's very easy for me to get behind TradingView.com. On top of all of their fantastic charting software, they also have a vibrant community of traders with millions of active users. You can join in on some of the conversations going on there, as well as access some of the research and ideas being shared by fellow members. Whether you use Bollinger Bands, using moving averages, or pattern trading, whatever you do, TradingView has so many different tools and even the ability to program your own custom tools right inside of their platform. One of my favorite things about TradingView personally is that I can take my laptop anywhere I want. I can access my TradingView.com account, and then I can log into it from my phone or a different computer and still have all of my charts loaded, which is fantastic and super convenient for being in different places like myself, where I have different charts that I am looking at. Recently, some of the nice people over at TradingView set me up with a pro version of their platform, and it is fantastic. I encourage you though, if you haven't already signed up for a TradingView account, sign up for one for free. There's a link down below in the description to try it out. And hey, if you really like it, try out their pro version. They're supporting the content that you guys see here and making it all possible. So a big shout out to TradingView, and go check them out if you haven't already.